Greetings. My name is Lori Jervis. I'm a Euro-American woman. I'm wearing a black top today. I'm a member of the Committee on Ministry. The function of the Committee on Ministry is to monitor on a regular and continuing basis the effectiveness of the church's ministry, acknowledging and praising areas of strength, and assessing the reasons behind areas of perceived weakness or dissatisfaction, so that we as a congregation can grow into our full potential and fulfill our mission. If you have any questions about the role of the Committee on Ministry or have any concerns, praise, or ideas about the ministries of the church, I welcome you to talk with me or another member of the Committee on Ministry, and those are Dex Marble, Tom Perriam, and James Vaughn. And also, one thing about that term Committee on Ministry, sometimes I think people interpret that as meaning it's all about the minister. It really is about the ministries of the church, kind of broadly. So if you have any concerns about anything going on with the ministries of the church, feel free to come to us. I'd also like to point out the guidelines for communication that have been getting printed in the newsletters recently, the healthy habits of communication. These are really helpful in promoting respectful relationships among members and church staff, so I really encourage people to use those. The congregational meeting will be after the service, on June 4th. All are invited to attend, although only active members of the congregation may vote. Attendance may be in person or via Zoom. At the meeting, we will be discussing and voting on the budget for the next church year and electing officers for next year. All active members should have received an email with the proposed budget and budget narrative, and a hard copy will be mailed out this week. If you are a member and you don't receive a copy of the budget and the narrative, please reach out to the church administrator, Marlise Grob. There will be multiple opportunities to discuss the budget prior to the congregational meeting, beginning next Sunday, after the reception for bridging students.
Good morning. My name is Tim Atkins, and I serve as your Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. I am both big and tall, in my early 40s, wearing rainbow glasses, a maroon shirt, and a rainbow-colored chalice tie. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church, where our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. We welcome you in your brokenness and in your wholeness. No matter who you have been, who you are, or who you are becoming, we greet you today with love. I'd like to extend a special welcome to everyone who is watching us on YouTube this morning or later on. During the prelude, please introduce yourself in the comments and let us know where you're joining us from. If you're in Oklahoma City, what neighborhood you're in, or if you're elsewhere, what city you're joining us today. And we have a special service in store for you this week. It's our coming of age service. And it's the first one of these we've had together in person in a number of years, too. Our 8th graders and high schoolers have been participating in a special program this year called Coming of Age. It's like the Unitarian Universalist version of a bar or bat mitzvah or a confirmation. They have spent the year in their classroom guided by the teaching team of Zell Scott, Cratley Epperson, and Lori Jervis, while they talked about Unitarian Universalist history and theology. The culmination of this course has been the youth working on their personal credo statements with their mentors, which they will be sharing today as part of this worship service. Before we begin, in addition to thanking the teaching team, I want to thank all of our mentors this year: Zell Scott, Jim Riley, Susan Bishop, Loriana Lee, and Larry Little. I also want to extend a special invitation to everyone to join us after the service in Daniel Hall for some celebratory coming of age cake, and then afterwards join us for our Chalice Camp 50th anniversary celebration. And now the prelude prepares us for worship.
We light our chalice here in our building in Midtown, Oklahoma City, on land that was home to indigenous peoples, including the Apache, Caddo, and Wichita, on land that was taken from the Muskogee and Seminole and other removed and relocated peoples. We light the chalice as a symbol of our sacred time together. The burning chalice represents the light of reason and science, the warmth of loving community, the cleansing heat of justice, and the flame of hope.
In Between by Kate Walker. In between liminal, the space where we wait, between moments, events, results, action, no action, to stand on threshold, waiting for something to end, and something to arrive, a pause in the rumble of time. Awareness claims us, alert, a shadow of something different. In between innovation and acceptance, in between symptom and diagnosis, in between send and receipt of inquiry and question, in between love given and love received. Liminally, a letting go, entering into confusion, ambiguity, and disorientation. A ritual begun, look back at what once was. Look forward into what becomes. Identity sheds a layer, reaches into something uncomfortable to wear. In between lighting of match and kindling of oil, in between choosing of text and reading of words, in between voices and notes carried through the air into ears to hear, in between creation thrusts ever forward. Social hierarchies may disassemble and structures may fail. Communities may revolt or tempt trust. Tradition may falter or creativity crashes forward. Leaders may step down or take change, and people may choose or refuse. In between storm predicted, the horizon beacons. In between theology of process reminds us to take a step back. In between where minutiae and galaxies intermingle with microbes and mysteries. In between liminal, that space where we wait, look, listen, feel, breathe. Thank you.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn. It's in the teal soft-bound hymnal. It's number 1015, I Know I Can.
Verse 4. And though the journey is long, and destination is near, though troubles wait at every turn, I know, I can go on.
Please be seated.
Crow and Partridge by Faye Morganson. I have a very sad story for you.
Crow sat perched in a tree, surveying the world around him. A partridge crossed the path below. Crow watched for a while and thought, what a beautiful way of walking that partridge has. For a few moments, he sat, mesmerized.
Is there a partridge around here?
Crow noticed that Partridge took tiny steps. He moved his feet quickly and delicately.
Crow flew down. Is there a crow here?
Crow landed a little ways behind Partridge. He began to follow along behind Partridge and tried for a very long time to walk the way that Partridge walked.
It was difficult. Crow's feet were much larger than Partridge's. When he tried to take quick, tiny steps, he tripped over his own toes.
Finally, Partridge turned around and asked, Crow, what are you doing?
Don't be angry with me, replied Crow. I have never seen a bird that walks as beautifully as you do. I am trying to learn to walk like you.
Partridge puffed with a little pride, and he looked at Crow.
Wait a minute, Partridge says. I think you are being foolish. You are a crow, and you should walk like a crow. You look silly when you try to strut like me.
Crow heard Partridge's words, but paid no attention to them. He thought he'd be a better bird if only he could move the way that Partridge moved. He went on trying to learn. He tried so hard that eventually he forgot how crows are meant to walk, and he never mastered Partridge's walk either.
And isn't that sad? Poor Crow never realized what a lovely bird he was. Poor Crow never realized that he was most beautiful when he was himself. Thank you.
Every Sunday, we take an offering. Since 2002, all the cash and designated checks from that offering have gone directly to external nonprofit organizations doing good work, our Change for Change partners.
For the month of May, our Change for Change partner is Thick Descriptions. Thick Descriptions partners with educational institutions and community organizations to teach the skills needed to build healthier and more sustainable communities. For those of you who are in the sanctuary with us today, in just a moment we'll be passing the offering plate. If you are not able to make a gift today, we invite you to write a note of encouragement to our Change for Change partner organization, and we'll share the messages with them as well. And if you're watching us online, please make your gift by sending a check to First Unitarian. Just write Change for Change on the memo line, or make an online payment through our website, 1UC.org. This next reading is from An Appeal to the World, The Way to Peace in a Time of Division, which is a book of essays by the Dalai Lama. I believe that humans can get by without religion, but not without inner values, not without ethics. The difference between ethics and religion is like the difference between water and tea. Religion-based ethics and inner values are more like water. The tea that we drink is made mostly of water, but it contains other ingredients as well: tea leaves, spices, perhaps a little sugar, and, at least in Tibet, a pinch of salt. And that makes it more substantial, more lasting, something we want to drink every day. Yet no matter how the tea is prepared, its main ingredient is always water. We can live without tea, but not without water. Likewise, we are born without religion, but not without the basic need for compassion, and not without the fundamental need for water.
This is a reading on the definition of credo by Reverend Galen Gingrich. Circumstances tell us something about a person, but often not a lot. Incidental qualities do not make us who we are. What does, then? If I say that I am going to tell you something about myself, what you expect to hear is something significant and substantive. You don't want to know what I had for breakfast, or the number on my left rear tire, or even if I have a left rear tire. You want to know what I hold in my heart, what moves me from within and compels me to act, what frightens me and keeps me awake at night, what aspirations I nurture, and what longings I hold. You want to know about myself. And that's where the idea of a credo first came from, though it's not what it means today. In Latin, the word credo is the first person singular form of the verb meaning to believe. Literally translated, credo means I believe. The most common contemporary usage of this phrase appears in the Apostles' Creed, widely used among Western Christians in their worship services. It is repeated regularly by Christians to remind them of the essential doctrines that define their faith. Creeds like this one relate mostly to other worlds and other dimensions of experience. What concerns you and me in our worship is this world and everyday experience, our fears and dreams, our aspirations and longings. In other words, what we gather here to ponder is not a creed in the modern sense, but a credo in its ancient form. The Latin word credo was derived from two other Latin words, cor, meaning heart, and do, from the verb meaning to give. In its original meaning, cordo meant, I give my heart. To believe in something is to give your heart to it. A credo statement is not primarily about what you believe, about whether you believe the Bible is true, or God is spirit, or the earth is round. It's about what you aspire to give your heart to. A credo is an ideal that we set for ourselves. It's a goal by which we measure our conduct and accomplishments. Because it emerges from the depths of our hearts, it defines who we are. Not by describing our circumstances or specifying our beliefs, but by revealing the choices we have made about how we intend to live. Would you please join me in a spirit of prayer or meditation? Spirit of life, source of love, we gather today to celebrate the coming of age into spiritual adulthood of 5 precious, unique, and beloved individuals. We are filled with gratitude for the presence of these dear souls amongst us, a presence both young and wise, because the two are not contradictory qualities. As they share their credo statements, the statements of their hearts, today may they be empowered to speak their truth without fear of judgment, and may all who hear them let their ears be open to the truth they speak. As we meditate on the spiritual path of these coming of age students, may we also check in with our own spiritual health, our own spiritual progress, and remember that coming of age is not a graduation. It doesn't mean we've made it. It doesn't mean we're done seeking. The spiritual path continues on until the day we die. And there are some, including many of our Universalist ancestors, who would say it goes on even beyond death. We gather today on Mother's Day, a day that is joyous for many, heartbreakingly sad for many, and incredibly complicated for many more. For those who are happy on this day, who are happy to be mothers, however they define that word, or who are grateful for how they have been mothered, we rejoice with them. We share their feelings of gratitude. We say, thank you. Thank you. For those who are grieving on this day, who are missing beloved mothers who have passed on, who are grieving the mother who was never fully present to them or never there at all, or who were wounded emotionally, physically, in so many ways by their mother, we join them in their grief and hold them in love. For those who are filled with self-doubt on this day, who fear they weren't good enough mothers or fear they failed in some way, may they remember that healing can take many forms. Sometimes it may be reconciliation, but not always. Sometimes it may be reckoning and redemption. And sometimes it may be the achingly slow process of coming to peace with what has been and what is, and learning to be open to the surprise of grace. For those whose hearts are aching on this day, those who wanted to be mothers with all their hearts, but for any number of reasons could not be, for those who are still trying to become pregnant or to adopt, and who may be caught on a roller coaster of emotions, high with hope one day, deep in the valley of despair the next. May they find the source of their own strength and resilience, even as they are held in love and patience and encouragement from their families and the larger community. For those mothers who have lost a child, who have experienced miscarriages or infant death, or whose child died when they were older, we pray for their hurting hearts. We hold them in tender love. And finally, given the time and place where we are living, we can't forget those who are living in fear of forced motherhood, who may be pregnant or afraid they may become pregnant, and who are not ready to become mothers at this time, or maybe any time. Our hearts are with all those who are capable of becoming pregnant, who may feel hopelessly alone and afraid. May they know they are not alone. May we remind them of this by our courageous acts and our consistent presence. On this Mother's Day and all days, may it be so. Amen.
Huesco no hay paz en la tierra. No hay ningún bardo. Aventuremos la vida. No hay que tener, no durmáis. Aventuremos la vida. Nada te turbe, nada te espante. Quiera Dios tener, nada te falta. Nada te turbe, nada te espante. Solo
Hello, my name is Blake Bynum. I use they, them pronouns. I am a white male with semi-long curly brown hair. I'm wearing a open pineapple button-up shirt with a black shirt that has a buffalo on it. I do not believe that there's a deity of any kind. No higher power, no God, no pantheon. I believe that everyone is equal and should be treated as such. No asterisks, no exceptions. I believe that everyone is born with the rights. No one has to earn it. Nobody should have to fight legislation for it. You should have it. I believe that everybody wants to do good. I don't think that people do it because they'll get some supernatural reward after they die. I don't think they do it because they'll get a reward. I think people do good because they're good people. I believe that people are willing to forgive, so long as enough time has passed and everybody wants to. I believe that everybody can believe what they want to, so long as they aren't hurting themselves or others. And I believe that we should accept one another no matter what. Thank you.
I am Charlie Perriam. My pronouns are he, him. I am wearing a white shirt and black pants. When I think of religion, I generally think of a set of beliefs that people have in common. This makes Unitarian Universalism not fall into my category of religion. It's not a religion, but a religion where you can and do believe in all religions. For my credo, I'll just share my current beliefs. I do not think of them as religious, I just think of them as spiritual. First, I don't believe in God. I believe in God neither as an all-knowing man in the sky, nor a spirit that lives in all of us. The matter of a God does not hold much importance to me. I do believe in some sort of divine spirit in all of us. I would not describe that as a God. Even though I do not believe in God now, I am open to that belief in the future. I believe in the 7th UU principle of the interconnectivity of all people, and I believe that understanding others will help me understand the world itself, because I know our thoughts can impact everybody. Understanding and connecting with other people helps me know what mindset to have and how to do the most good and be the most helpful. It really just makes sense to me that everybody and everything is connected in some way. I value logic and ethics more than emotion and spirituality. I know that some people really value abstract things like emotion and spirituality, but I feel it's important to put logic and ethics before that. If any of my current beliefs were to be overruled by logic, I'm willing to change my beliefs and actions to adapt. One of the morals that govern my actions is that nobody should be killed, even those who've committed murder themselves. I believe in proper punishment for wrongdoings, but I don't believe in any punishment as extreme as death. I value life as a gift given to everybody that should never be taken away, and everybody should get a second chance to experience it. I think that punishment is necessary, but sometimes given too harshly, such as when someone is imprisoned without a fair trial. I think that punishment should be less severe, but still be present. It can be used to deter future bad behavior, but it's not necessary in many cases. Finally, I strongly believe in the first and second UU principles, which emphasize the inherent worth and dignity of each person and the importance of justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Treating everyone equally is a fundamental part of my morals, and I always strive to include and show dignity with everyone I interact with. However, there are times when I struggle to extend dignity to people, and I may feel that certain people don't deserve much respect. At those times, I feel it is better to just disengage with the situation to avoid any conflict. I think it's important not to lash out when somebody's disregarding your morals and still treat them as human. Even though I may not always follow through on my morals, I will still strongly support the UU principles, and I hope they'll change my life in a positive way. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jules Hutel. I'm a white male with long curly brown hair wearing gray pants and a gray shirt. And I've been going to this church ever since I can remember. There are many things that I enjoy in life. One of my favorite experiences is when the weather is just right. When it is rainy but still warm, when there's a slight breeze and the sun is covered by the clouds. I love the color of the leaves, the sounds of birds chirping, and the temperature of the air. When I'm not out in nature, I love playing video games. Video games are a big part of my life. They provide a distraction, they're fun to play, and most importantly, they're a connection between me and my long-distance friends. I don't think it matters whether there is a God, because if God exists, we will never find out. Instead, I trust in science. I believe people connect through common emotion rather than some magical connection. And I believe people should be treated equally, regardless of who they are. In conclusion, I'd like to read to you a statement I created using an artificial intelligence named ChatGPT. I believe in living a life guided by reason and critical thinking. Rather than faith or superstition, I find peace and fulfillment in experiencing the natural world without the interference of human influence. I cherish the moments spent with loved ones and find joy in helping others. I strive to make the most of my time on this earth by living a meaningful life that is true to my values. It took a lot of time and thinking to write this, but it would have taken a lot longer without the help and support from my mom and dad, my friends Malachi and Addie from Virginia, and my mentor, Larry Little. Thank you.
My name is Malachi, single. I am a white teenager with short, curly, brownish blonde hair, wearing a white t-shirt and a black hoodie. When I started the coming of age program, I thought that I was totally screwed. Despite growing up in the UU church and learning about all kinds of different beliefs, I never really thought much about my own religious or spiritual beliefs, especially not in recent years. There always seemed to be more pressing things to worry about. So as a kid, I always followed along with what my peers or the adults I admired were saying. I was around a lot of atheists, some of which may have been the type to think that they're so much better than you because they're not stupid enough to believe any of that crap. This led me to think that all religion was dumb. It didn't help that I was seeing so many people using religion to justify violence and hate. So even though I knew that religion was supposed to be a positive influence, I didn't want to associate with it at all. As I got older, I began to see past the corrupt parts of religion I'd been shown all my life and see the comfort that it brought people. Comfort I didn't have. At first, this made me sad that I could never have what I thought of at the time as ignorant bliss. Eventually, I grew up and realized that there really is no way to truly know how the universe came to be or what will happen when we die. For quite a while now, I've been the type of person to not believe in any God, but still find myself praying when things get tough. I think this is because we as people need something to rely on. We need to believe that someone is looking out for us, that everything is going the way it's supposed to. It's all a part of some great plan, or maybe we just have some kind of control. Mostly, I don't think we can know. But I do know it doesn't really matter, at least not to me. At least not to me. Yeah. As I continue to learn and grow, my opinions will change and solidify. But for now, I believe our only duty as people is to try our best to be the best version of ourselves and just not be a jerk. We live in a community, whether that's our family, our school, our neighborhood, or our church. As such, I believe we should consider how the way we live affects those around us. Coming to this church for the last 9 years, I have been surrounded by people who have shown me that example. Well, every kid my age I talk to about the UU Church either assumes I'm in a cult, either because 1, they associate all religion with hardcore conservative Christians, or 2, they are hardcore conservative Christians. Despite what my peers might think, this church has always been a safe place for me and has been the most consistent community I've ever had. Growing up here made me who I am today. I was taught to question authority, value all experiences and beliefs, and to follow my own path. In conclusion, I'm 14. I don't think that anyone really knows anything, especially not me. I'm going to grow and learn and change for the rest of my life. And I will always be grateful for the people around me who have helped me along the way and will continue to help me. Thank you.
Hi. So I'm Gina Weaver. My pronouns are they and them. I am a white teenager with short curly hair, and today I am wearing a green button-down printed with cartoon frogs and a leather jacket with a pride pin on the lapel. So when you begin writing this thing, they start by asking you what you believe. Okay, I said 4-ish weeks ago, and a little too confident. I can do that. I know what my beliefs are. I've lived with myself for 15 years. In all seriousness though, I was pretty terrified. What if I got it wrong somehow? Was that even possible? So I started at what I thought was the beginning, and quickly figured out that I believe in the 7 UU principles. Obviously. They were what I was raised with, and the day I forget the cute little song they teach us at Chalice Camp is probably the day I die. Yes, each person is important. Yes, I want to be kind. And yes, I will care for Earth Lifeboat. But seeing that written down, even saying it aloud now, it feels like the easy way out. Like I'm taking the path of least resistance. But on the other hand, I'm not going to stand up here in front of my friends and my congregation and my literal mother and say, you know what, all people don't need a voice. The 7 principles are steeped into my soul. I will never forget them, I will never stop teaching them, and even if I end up moving away from Unitarian Universalism in the future, I will carry them with me as I forge a path for myself. At the same time, however, there is more to me than them. I believe that each person has an inherent worth and dignity. I believe in human rights for all, full stop, no exceptions or addendums. I both believe and trust wholeheartedly in science, and I want to go on to study it professionally. I believe that there can be no ethical consumption under capitalism, and I believe that there's more to this than repeating what I see as the bare minimum. Those are all great things to believe in, but there is more. The next thing they tell you when you start writing this thing is that this is also, read mainly, a statement of faith. So when it comes to the divine, I think it's safe to say that I do not know. And I don't think we can know, not really. I Googled it once, and while there are only 5 predominant global religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism respectively, there could be over 4,000 different individual denominations worldwide, depending on your estimate. So no, I believe that no one is completely right, but also that no one is completely wrong either. How can anyone get it completely correct when there are so many different options? When you have a dozen different churches on your block all promoting the idea of hell and how you're gonna burn in there forever if you don't show up every Sunday, how are you expected to make that choice? I truly want to believe that there is more to this life than what we have on earth. I have lost too many people not to. But I also believe that we cannot flounder what little time we have here. We can't waste it hoping for some great cosmic reward, some second chance, some divine pat on the back for all the good deeds we've done. I believe that we should be kind, not because it is some metaphysical carrot on a stick, but rather because we are human, and if we do not help each other, no one else will. On the other hand, I've known people who've done acts of kindness in the name of their God or in hopes of making it into the good afterlife, which not exactly ideal in my limited perspective, but the kindness gets performed either way, heaven or no heaven, so. This is gonna sound cheesy and insane and probably a little ridiculous, but I guess when you boil it down, that's what I believe in. Kindness. Unrelenting, unconditional kindness. If there is a God, great. If there isn't, then fine. I'm still gonna make my mom tea when she's sad or tired. I'm still gonna compliment that girl in front of me at Starbucks with the really cool hair. I'm still gonna volunteer at that charity. I'm still gonna give that small child my last pack of fruit snacks. What does it matter if there's some omniscient being watching us? The end result is the same no matter what. There is this Jewish story that I think illustrates this idea better than I ever could. It's about this wealthy man who comes to his rabbi and says, I have decided to build an orphanage. Can you put me in touch with the relevant people? The rabbi is delighted to do so, yay, orphanages, and introduces the man to some charities he could talk to. After a few weeks, though, the man comes back to the rabbi. I've decided not to build the orphanage, he says. I realized that I was only doing it because I wanted to be admired as a philanthropist. My motives were selfish. And the rabbi answers, do you think the orphans will care why you're building the orphanage? Build it anyway. Big thanks to my mom, Dorothy. Hi, I did it. She recently taught a course on world religions and explained countless confusing concepts to me while I was doing research for this, even if I didn't end up mentioning them. And of course, big thank you to my mentor, Loriana. She guided me through many a difficult conversation and helped me turn my near incoherent ramblings into something that I would be proud to present as a credo in front of my church community. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to invite our coming-of-age families to join us in the front over by Reverend Diana. Our coming-of-age youth, go ahead and pop up and head on to your families over there. And I'd also like to invite our coming-of-age mentors to join us in the center up here.
Mentors up here. Mentors
Susan,
up here.
You guys want to take one of those bags?
Blake, Charlie, Jules, Malachi, and Gina, you have presented us today with statements of your heart, reflections of your truest selves. In doing this, you have demonstrated your commitment to the aspirations that we share as a congregation to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. In recognition of the many gifts your presence brings to this community, I hereby recognize your coming of age as people of faith. Congratulations from all of us, and welcome.
We'll be calling our coming-of-age youth one by one to give their parents a hug and then walk to the center of our chancel to join their mentors and receive a gift from your mentors and the staff and church here at First Unitarian. So I'd like to call Blake Bynum up. Our youth are getting a Oklahoma City swag bag and a chalice pendant that their mentors are putting on. I'm going to practice. We're going to practice that next time. All right. Blake, come on up here. Next, I'd like to call Charlie Perriam. Come on up. All right. We're going to go ahead and start with Jules Rutel. Jules, come on up. Congratulations. All right. Jules can help, I think. Let Jules help me. Hey, all right. Next, I'd like to call up Malachi Single. And Gina Weaver, please come on up.
Oh, this kid. Oh. I'm sorry. I like wicked crowds. Wicked crowds.
Family, thank you. You may be seated. According to the bylaws of First Unitarian Church of Oklahoma City, membership is open to all persons over the age of 18 or age 14 who have completed the coming of age curriculum, who indicate their identification with the free church tradition by signing the membership book and by agreeing to support the church by their participation, by continuing financial support, and by service. All members of our 2023 Coming of Age program have indicated that they wish to sign the book of membership, which I invite them to do right now. So as we say their names, we'll invite them to go over and sign the membership book. Charlie Perriam. Malachi Single. Blake Bynum. Gina Weaver. and Jules Rutel. And now I invite our newest members to read aloud the words that are printed in the order of service, which Nathan Boone, our Congregational Life Coordinator, will lead.
Are we ready? As members of this congregation, with hope and possibility in our hearts, we pledge to support and participate in the ministries of this church. We covenant to remain true to the spirit of love that flows through this church and guides us. We seek your welcome as we join you as members.
And now, all members of the congregation, please rise in body or in spirit. Please read the words printed in your order of service. We, the members of First Unitarian Church of Oklahoma City, welcome your presence among us. For your fresh vision and inspiring energy, we welcome you. For your questions and your challenges, we welcome you. May you continue to grow. May we all continue to grow, and mind and body and spirit. Our hearts always open to one another. We give you our blessing. Once again, before we sing, can we give a round of applause to all the family members of our coming of age students? To the mentors and teachers. And to our amazing, inspiring coming of age students themselves. I also want to recognize Tim Atkins, our Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. And now, remaining as you are, let's sing hymn 1021 in that same softbound teal hymnal, Lean on Me.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have some sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on the brother when you need a friend. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
These words are by Robert Kaufman. We wish you a storm or two that you may enjoy the calm. We wish for you tranquility in time of trial. We wish you a cool breeze on a warm day and pale white clouds that you may better appreciate the blueness of the sky. We wish you darkness that you may see stars, and we wish you anticipation of high adventure, and we wish you courage to avoid battle. We wish you a sense of wonder and poetry and music. We wish you companionship that you may better appreciate solitude. We wish you a friend who will understand you, and understanding so that you may have a friend. We wish you may become all that you wish to be and all that you hope you can be. We wish you a flower to smell, a hand to touch, a voice to cheer, a heart to gladden, and we wish you someone to love as we love you. Thank you.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of love and community which burns in our hearts.
One more time, please join me in congratulating the coming of age class of 2023.